Again, please stay safe. This is a two-part live pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. His accuser, Ashley Parham, has spoken with Miss Banfield of News Nation. There was a longer interview, about 40 minutes long. Obviously, they've taken it down for some reason because I can't find it in my history. So I'm going to play you this few-minute clip, but I'm going to rehash what I watched this morning that is no longer available in the YouTube queue. And then we're going to talk about Wendy Williams, her debacle of being basically held hostage in a facility or home where she can't get out to deal with her family, which is just some bizarre information. But let's hear this information pertaining to Ashley Parham. And she's also has her attorney present with her, speaking to Banfield. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $DeGanji129 Cash App. Stickers and checks are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time.
Here's some disturbing details of brutal violence and boundless cruelty. And before I say another word, you need to know two things. One, it is one woman's account laid out in a lawsuit that has not yet been proven. And two, the person being accused of these terrible things is Sean Diddy Combs, and he's denying everything. We touched on this story before, back when Ashley Parham filed a jaw-dropping lawsuit. The claims were just mystifying and overwhelming. She says that she was drugged and gang raped by Diddy and his entourage at a private home in the Bay Area back in 2018. She says after the gang rape, she slashed Diddy with a knife and was shot at by either Diddy or a member of the entourage before narrowly escaping with her life. She then says she was rescued by a neighbor nearby who called police, but she claims the officers who responded ignored her. I reported those details from the court filing, but now Ashley has agreed to sit down with me and detail what happened in person. I also asked her some difficult questions about specifics in her alleged ordeal. In return, we agreed to hide her face, and she joined me earlier today along with her attorney, Ariel Mitchell. If you can, and I'm sorry these questions are so difficult. I'm following along with the affidavit for the most part. Can you tell me what happened after you say Sean Combs allegedly raped you with the TV remote? What happened after that in that bedroom with all of those people present?
They took turns raping me, and Sean Combs raped me anally. Shane Pierce also raped me, but vaginally. And the bodyguard guy, he raped me as well while Sean Combs was sitting in a chair naked, filming it and jerking off to watching me being raped.
Sean Combs was masturbating while you say the other members of his party were taking turns with you?
Yeah.
Important to note, these are accusations only at this point. They have not been proven in a court of law. It's not a criminal case. It is a civil case. And you're going to hear a full hour of our conversation tomorrow on a special edition of Banfield, including Parham's answer to a question that has nagged at me from the start. Why, after making such a daring escape, would she return and then spend the night at the scene of her harrowing gang rape and shootout? Again, Sean Combs firmly denies all of this. His attorneys gave us this statement I want to read for you in full. Quote, as the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department confirmed, her report was thoroughly investigated and it was determined the claims were unfounded. Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California on the day she claims she was assaulted. There is no evidence that Mr. Combs was even in the same room as Ms. Parham. She is completely unbelievable, and no sane person who views the evidence will credit her story. Again, the statement from Sean Combs' attorneys. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen.
Okay, everybody.
Just mystifying and overwhelming.
you're gonna have to, in order to
Diddy and his entourage at a private home in the Bay Area back in.
This is 2018. Allegedly, this incident took place. It's gonna be hard for you to understand it because they've taken the video down. Because I watched it early this morning, and there is no. It's not in my history, which I thought was strange. I checked my device, I checked my TV. They've taken the video down. It's about a 40-minute video, so I've got to recap to you all what she said in that video. I'd like to know why did they take it down. This is some weird stuff. I'm trying to just get a brief caption of the young lady. I don't know what to believe. I don't doubt that he has sexually assaulted women and men and children. That's no problem for me, because I do believe he's a sadist. But the issue is the story. As you hear her speaking here, she's very slow with delivering the message pertaining to what he allegedly did to her. I don't know if that's just because that's just the way she speaks in general. She doesn't speak, at a normal pace, or is scripted. But let's go over what she's alleging. There were several people in the room. I can't remember the count of people because I didn't hear of Shane Pierce. This is a guy who she went to his house originally. Okay, so let me set it up. Shane Pierce is her alleged friend. He calls her to tell her he's having problems opening his medicine because he's taking cancer meds. So she drives over to his house, but it was a ruse to get her over there. So when she gets there, he wants to go take a drive to show her his new car. So I guess they took a drive. They come back to his apartment, some tiny little apartment, and then as she's in the home talking, drinking, gives her, Sean Puffy Combs busts in with an entourage of people, and then this rape commences. So she's in this room being sexually assaulted by Shane Pierce, the friend, Sean Puffy Combs. He's telling her, oh, hey, I bet you didn't think you're going to see me again. And I guess they start talking about the Tupac situation where she makes claims that she overheard him and Pierce on a phone at one point. This is before this incident, where Pierce was him, and she overheard the conversation. So she made comments about, I'm not impressed with him. He's the one that killed Tupac. And so Sean heard her say this. And so I guess if we're to believe these allegations, her so-called friend set her up. He brings Sean Puffy Combs over to his apartment with a bunch of people to assault her as payback for her saying he unalived Tupac. Once again, all allegations. So we got all these people in a room. They're taking turns raping her. As you heard in this commentary, Sean's watching her be assaulted by her so-called friend. He's filming it, which we do know he does like to film. He does like to masturbate while filming. Those are same allegations we've heard from other people. And long story short, they've hidden all her belongings, phone, car keys, clothes, whatever. At some point, she grabs a T-shirt. She puts it on, a black shirt. She gets a knife. Some point in the story, she stabs him in the chest, but not deeply. We get information about a police coming over from neighbors complaining about the noise or some type of disturbance. And in my opinion, pertaining to this police report, we're going from disturbance to rape. Well, those two are not the same. So I hear a bunch of people hollering, screaming. Naturally, I don't know what's going on in there. I can't say somebody was sexually assaulted. I can't say what. So we don't know if it's music, this, that, gunshots. So they're supposed to be allegedly trying to find the person who lived at this house that brought forth the complaint of the noise, disturbance, whatever. Now, she gets a chance to get out of this house or go over to the neighbor, and he's trying to help her and say, hey, you can stay here, blah, blah, blah. So the latest information is that she went back into the house. So during that interview, this one here, Banfield asked her, well, why did you go back? Why did you go back in after these guys had raped you and they're watching and filming and blah, blah, blah. And also the female assistant to Diddy, she was there. She alleged she put in a copper IUD that didn't work, which that's crazy. So now we've got a woman who's pretending to be a gynecologist and a nurse practitioner It's all wow. Her sitting on a bench outside of a room on some buckets, a handmade bench, which that sounds crazy. Sean Puffy Combs shooting off a gun at some point when they're outside on a patio. See, all this is going from inside to outside. I don't know what to believe, but we get information about a neighbor coming over or reporting an incident of noise, whatever. Police being called, police saying they didn't hear anything. They don't believe she was assaulted allegedly. See, you don't really know what was said. The lawyer tells us in this commentary that you can't hear now that she's tried getting information about all police reports. The girl allegedly went to 3 different police departments under this certain county, and nobody believed her story. It took her weeks before she went to the hospital or to her doctor, which that's suspect. You're going to go to 3 police departments, but you don't go to the hospital. I find that very strange. The fact that they say she returned back to the house after this assault, but then her lawyer says, well, why are you all judging her for that? Because she needs to get her things. People are disoriented. People do different things when they're under duress. Where I have the problem with the story is this. If all this is true, her friend raped her, Sean raped her, other people watched, looked, whatever. When the police came to the house, why didn't you tell the police, I was assaulted, I want you to get my things from them. Could you please make them give me my clothes and my keys? See, this is where the story is weird. Okay, she gets a chance to get away, but she said she didn't trust that person, the neighbor, because I guess it was a guy. But yet somebody's going to still judge it, as Banfield did, because Banfield said, hey, their lawyers are going to be much harsher than what I'm being. I'm just asking the question, you're spinning the story. You go back into a house with a bunch of people that just raped you, but you don't trust the guy neighbor. So somebody's going to say, well, what's the difference? They're all strangers. Exactly. And the one that's supposed to be your friend, Mr. Shane Pierce, he set this whole thing up in elections. So why did she tell the police, hey, they got my clothes, they got my purse, they got my shoes? Because see, if she had told the police, they got my personal things, and then they had to go retrieve them from another room or somewhere, then the police could use his deduction or her deduction. Oh, well, there must be some hanky-panky, because why are her things hidden? Checkmate. Stay woke, everybody. Why are her things hidden? Why is everybody else dressed, but she's not dressed? See, those are the things the detective police officer is supposed to pay attention to. Everybody's got clothes on except for her. If this is true now. Why is she the only one walking around with a black t-shirt on, but everybody else is fully clothed? See, that doesn't make any sense. Everybody's fully clothed, but she's not. Her shoes and purse and keys are hidden. So that would alert the police, okay, there's something wrong here. So see, we don't hear any of that. Gunshots, he shoots off a gun in the backyard, a bodyguard jumps in, she says she ran and hid behind him, which that don't make no sense. The bodyguard's in cahoots with Sean Puffy Combs. Why are you running behind somebody that's in cahoots with him? Why didn't you ever try to run out? So these are the questions I have pertaining to her allegations in that 40-minute video that obviously News Nation has taken down. Number 1, Shane Pierce. Did she have a relationship with Shane Pierce? Because now we hear that he also raped her in the same room with Sean Puffy Combs, okay? The fact that he called her over to his apartment to say he couldn't open his medicine because he was so sick. But yet when you get there, he wants to go take a drive and show you his new car. That don't make no sense. So why didn't she think, okay, something's up here? He calls me and tells me he's sick, but then I get over here, he wants to show me his new car. So are you sick or you not sick? And if a person is so sick, how are they getting behind the wheel of a car to drive? See, this is where all this doesn't make any sense. That's why I always tell people to pay attention to the information, because the information is going to show you if there's some truth to the story. For all I know, they all got together to have sex and she decided to cry rape. I don't know. But I know the story sounds fishy. And I also know that her relationship with her attorney is suspect, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the same woman the attorney was had a bad turn with months ago when she first brought the story to News Nation, Miss Ariel Mitchell. And we're going to show another video pertaining to that attorney. And then all that nonsense about a tape and recordings. I think this is the same female. So that's why I said there's some hanky-panky with her version, and Ariel Mitchell as well. Because Ariel Mitchell first came out with allegations of a tape. Somebody had a tape. Then the next thing you know, she changed it to, oh, I got an accuser. So it was like, okay, well, which is it? You got a tape, now you got an accuser. It's a bunch of bullshit. So once again, did she have a relationship with Shane Pierce before this rape with Sean Puffy Combs? Okay? Why not run out to get help when you were able to leave the house? Nobody's restraining you. Why, when you went with the neighbor, you returned back to the house? See, none of this makes any sense. Why didn't you tell the police they hid your phone, your keys? Tell them to please give me my belongings. Why didn't the police believe her allegation? What was actually said at the house with Miss Parham and the police? How many officers were there? At one point, she says when she was able to get her things at the end of this debacle, she was going to hide in her car. That doesn't make any sense. You finally get your keys, your clothes. Why would you want to hide in your car and you have the keys to ignition to turn the car over and spruce down the road? We also hear she didn't want to run out because it was dark and it was hilly in the area where they live, and she didn't want to be half naked running out. But some people will still judge that too. Well, you're trying to get help. You're trying to get somebody to believe you. But then someone can say, well, how was she going to get back in her house? She didn't have no car keys, no door key. And I get it. You can't be disoriented in your thinking when in trauma. And that is true. What one person will do, another person wouldn't do. But I still don't understand getting your car keys, and then you want to hide in the car. That makes no sense. What's the purpose of getting my car keys and I don't drive off? I don't understand any of that. Okay? Going to the hospital weeks later. How many weeks later? Go to the hospital, unfounded. Can't tell if she was sexually assaulted or not. Rape kit performed allegedly. Nothing comes back with any venereal diseases or HIV. Goes to 3 police stations, but like I said, didn't think to go to the hospital first so they can file the report. Because if you go to the hospital, they will be the ones to call law enforcement over to the hospital to say, oh, we have a rape victim, alleged rape victim here. So I find it strange she goes to 3 different police departments, yet nobody wants to take her statement or believe her. That's strange to me. Okay? Goes to the hospital weeks later, or goes to her own personal doctor, excuse me. The fact that she had a dispute with her lawyer when she first brought out these allegations, that's strange to me. Because the lawyer felt like she wasn't being truthful in some of her information. And I think that's the issue of her going back in the house after this alleged incident happened. Okay? The videotapes. Is she the one with the proof of the tape? Then that's strange. How are you a victim, but you got a tape of see, there's something wrong with all of this nonsense. Tupac being killed. You accused him of killing Tupac, and during this rape, this night of rape, you said that Sean Puffy Combs admitted to hiring someone to unalive Tupac Shakur. Is that true? Just a lot of crazy nonsense. You don't even know what's the truth. The neighbor, will they find the neighbor who lived next door and filed the complaint about the disturbance? Was there anybody else in the apartment house with the neighbor to corroborate a disturbance? What did the neighbor say on the 911 call? When they find the neighbor, will the neighbor give a statement? Will the neighbor also say, yes, this lady here was the lady I saw at the house. I also spoke to her and tried to render her help, but she didn't want to stay in my place. We also hear that she went back in the house and she laid down. That was her account during this 40-minute video on Banfield, which is strange. You're going to go back in the house and go to sleep. Who wants to go to sleep in the house when they were just gang raped? Yes, Banfield asked her that. And the lawyer got defensive and said, you don't have a right to be asking her that. She was under duress, blah, blah, blah. Well, people are going to ask her, and the judge is going to ask her as well. The lawyers are going to ask her if it ever goes to a court hearing. Ariel Mitchell claims that there have been numerous cases in this county where women have brought forward rape cases and none of them were investigated. All of them were unfounded. So if that is true, then we might say the county has some issues with women. The sheriff don't like women, has a bias against women. Is that true? Will the sheriff come out and say, give a response pertaining to Miss Mitchell's allegations that there have been many rape cases during this time frame, 2018 or after or before, where you all did not thoroughly investigate women claiming to have been sexually assaulted? That's my commentary pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I prefer that you all watch the 40-minute video. I don't know if News Nation is going to put the video back up, but as I said before, when I go in my history, the video is no longer available because I tried looking for it before going live, and I found it very strange. The video is gone. As I said, I checked my phone, I checked my TV. News Nation has removed the video. Why? Why did you remove the video? See, I keep trying to tell people, you always have to pay attention to the information. I watched the video this morning. That's where I got all this information from. Now the video is missing. So News Nation, why did you take the video down? Ariel Mitchell, what are you up to? Because I don't trust you either. Because you came to News Nation with all this bullshit about Sean Puffy Combs and this woman. And at one point, you didn't believe her your damn self because you even told Banfield you were having issues with her story. Now you're back at Banfield spinning more stuff about Sean Puffy Combs and Tupac. I don't know to believe this woman. Now, as for Puffy being a sadist, child molester, rapist, yeah, I believe those allegations. I believe some of the allegations. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know if I believe this allegation because it's winded. And anybody that's raped and they get a chance to run for safety, your ass is running out of there. You're going to do your best to get out of there. You're not trying to fall back asleep. You're not trying to go talk to the neighbor, then go back into the house and lay down on somebody's nasty bed where they sexually assaulted you. Why would I want to put my head down and close my eyes in a room where people were raping me and filming me and threatening me and pulling out a gun? And I had to pull out a knife, found a knife, cut Sean. This is all bizarre to me. This is all bizarre because my thing is these people could have gotten rid of her, knocked her off, threw her somewhere out in the canyon, and nobody would have known a damn thing. So is this woman telling the truth? Number one. Her relationship with Mr. Pierce, her so-called friend. Where did she meet him? How long did she know him? Did she have a sexual relationship with him before this alleged rape with Sean Puffy Combs? It's all bizarre to me. Let's go back 3 months ago when all this nonsense jumped off and hear from this crazy ass Ariel Mitchell, who I don't trust her either. There's something ghetto ratchet about her. She sounds like she's straight from the street. And it's something about her. It ain't proper to me. Just ain't proper. Probably so, Faith. But if they can show that a person is drugged, then that is rape, okay? A person can't consent to any type of sex if they are inebriated, whether it's alcohol or narcotics. So it don't matter if I went to your house to talk, to watch TV. Once you put a drug in my drink, then it is rape. There is no consent when a person has been drugged. So it don't matter why I went to your house. The point is you put something in my drink. So all bets are off. We also hear her say something about being doused with oil. That was mentioned, which I thought that was kind of and rubbing it on their bodies. She said that's to keep her from, her pushing him and the other off of her. That's why he used oil. It's just a lot to it that's just crazy. Let's go back in time a month ago, I believe, and listen to this dodo bird lawyer. She's ratchet too. We're going to talk about Wendy Williams. I didn't put the name in the title, but we're going to talk about Wendy Williams as well. This is a 2-part live. Okay.
They are jaw-dropping allegations. A woman said she was gang raped by P. Diddy and his entourage and drugged as well more than 6 years ago in California. Ashley Parham says the terrifying evening involved a knife fight with Diddy in which she grazed him and being shot in life. So the big question is why, after she finally escaped this harrowing ordeal, why did she go back to the scene of the crime and then spend the night there? It was part of a brand new lawsuit filed just hours ago against Sean Diddy Combs. I'm joined once again by the accuser's attorney, Ariel Mitchell. Ariel, you're just great to stay with me over 3 blocks. I really appreciate that.
Well, let me say for this.
Friend of the show, too, I might add. So
let me say before we get into this, the lady who was making the allegations against Sean in this case, her friend drugged her, allegedly, not Sean. Her friend gave her water at this apartment, and it made her feel weird, and then she claimed Sean and some guys and a woman all busted in. And that's when he claimed, oh, hey, bet you didn't expect to see me again. So she doesn't claim, to my understanding, that Sean drugged her. She's saying it started with the drink from her friend, Mr. Pierce. Now, what he had in the oil, if that's even true, so we don't even know if it's true or not. I don't know. I just think all of it's bullshit. It's all weird to me. But like I said, I do not uphold Sean. I do believe he's a sadist. I want to make sure everyone understands that. I do believe he's a sadist. I do believe some of the allegations from people, but I also believe a lot of the people hung around Sean and saw his behavior, and they still kept hanging around him, realizing he's a rapist, a sadist, and a drugger. Because all that stuff with Cassie was with him on and off for years. So she saw the worst of Sean Puffy Combs, and she still rode the ride. She still rode the ride. And that's why he paid her, because he knew she had proof to the allegations. That's why he paid her. So we do know he's a liar, because when the tape came out, it showed him beating the girl up in the hotel. But what's weird is he don't want to pay nobody else. You'll pay her. You paid her a day later from the actual suit. But then you say these other people are lying, but everything that they're saying is what she had said in her suit. But you paid Cassie. So then the tape comes out. It shows us that, yes, you're a beater too. Somebody had the tape. You obviously paid somebody for the tape. But the tape got released. So who released the tape? See, there's a lot of questions with no damn answers. Hopefully, as time goes by and these suits get to court, we will get an understanding of the tapes. Who had the tape, kept the tape, who was paid, what's the truth to all these allegations, who else has any receipts to their allegations. It's a hot butter mess. But allegedly, this case we're talking about right here, the woman claims her friend put something in the water in the drink before Sean ever walked into the apartment.
Tough as a journalist, and certainly not personal, you know that. That is a huge question, and you just know opposing counsel is going to come at you saying all these horrific things. Literally, she lived a horror movie, and then after the police leave down the block, she decides to go back.
Well, I'm not here to argue about what's in the court documents, okay? I'm talking about what was revealed in this interview and the interview from earlier. None of that's mentioned in the interview. So if nobody's read any court documents, they can only go by what they're saying in the interview. I'm only repeating what was in the interview, not what's in court documents. I'm only repeating what the woman said during her 40-minute interview. She starts it off by saying she was drugged by her friend. So now, you want to go argue about what the woman said to Banfield? You go argue with Banfield, okay? I'm just repeating you what she told Banfield earlier. Because that's the whole point about a story. A story can change 5 different ways. I'm not here to argue none of it. I'm just repeating to you what she told this lady here. And nothing about no GHB was mentioned. She starts the story off with, my friend gave me a drink. That's what was said in the interview. Damn.
The apartment let herself in and then stayed the night. How do you explain that?
So first I want to tell you, you asked the question that I asked. I said to her the exact same thing. What made you go back? And I knew in my mind, because I've dealt with so many victims, they're really not thinking clearly. And she said, Ariel, I knew you would say that. I knew you would ask me, why did I go back? And she said, honestly, I don't even have a good explanation. All I know is I just really wasn't there. I had on a T-shirt. I was at some strange man's house, the neighbor's house, that she didn't know. She just thought she could go get her. She had no purse. She had no keys. She had no cell phone. What was she supposed to do? And she was like, I figured maybe since they left, I can at least go try and get my stuff back. And she said, honestly, I've asked myself that many a times. I know this is probably going to come up to everybody, like, because any person like you and me sitting in that situation, I haven't experienced that. We can sit here and judge all day and say, well, I wouldn't have done that, or that doesn't make any sense. But none of us know what we would do until we were in a similar situation. So I've been in situations where I profess, oh, it's no way if I was in this situation, I wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. And then the minute I got in that situation, I did not do any of those. So I do agree that that was a question. I do agree to a person who's like that. They would say, oh, I wouldn't have gone back. But what would you have done? You have no clothes. You have no means of getting anywhere, no purse. Your car's there, no car keys, no cell phone. And your help, the police, seemingly left you. What other option would
if it
you
goes,
have?
you know, if it goes to a jury, would make that decision. Ariel, like I said, I'm super appreciative that you spent this much time and that you helped us sort of navigate through the complaint. And I look forward to, I think we're going to be talking a lot more as this continues to go through the courts, this one and others. Thank you for this.
Exactly. If this issue even goes to a courtroom, the civil suit that she has against Sean Puffy, a jury hears the information. I'm sure there'll be somebody on the panel. All it takes is one, to hang a jury. That's common sense. Well, why did she, not run out? When she had a chance to go outside, go out the door of the room or whatever, because allegedly it was a very tiny place. Why didn't she run out? Number one. Why didn't she, when she had a chance to be outside, run out? When she was able to make contact with the neighbor, why didn't she go with the neighbor? Why did she return back into the apartment and lie down in the bedroom, the same room where she was raped? A sane, rational person is going to ask those questions. Now, the flip side of that is that someone's going to say, well, she did it because she wanted to eventually get her keys and clothes back. She couldn't just walk barefoot. But then somebody will say, well, who cares? You're being assaulted. You're scared for your life. You got a hold of a knife. A gunshot was administered by Sean Puffy Combs allegedly. You got weapons involved. Why not run for your life and worry about how you're going to get in your house later? So it's up to how you view the story. If you, one, believe the story, number one, if you believe the allegations in the story. And then the second part is, as they say, ABC TV show, what would you do? You're in this situation, what would you do? A neighbor comes along, willing to help, but you won't go with the neighbor because it's a man. But yet you're around a bunch of men you don't know that just raped you. What's the difference? The fact she didn't tell the cops, hey, I need my things, that's where I have the problem. She's spinning this story, half drug, undrugged, whatever. Why wouldn't you tell the cops? They have my things. All I want to do is leave here. See, that would have been suspicious to a cop. Well, why aren't her things out? Why isn't her purse, her clothes lying out? Why are her purse, shoes, clothes hidden? That would tell the story. Okay, there's some hanky-panky here. Okay? There's some hanky-panky here. Why are her things hidden and everybody else is walking around? So now we got to talk to the cop who went there. One cop, two cops, how many cops were there? What did the cops notice when they were there? Did they see alcohol? Did they see baby oil laid out? Did they see condoms laid out? Did they see anybody that looked inebriated? Look, see, those are all the things that's going to be relevant. I don't know if this is or not, quite frankly. I don't know if she met Sean through her friend, Mr. Pierce, and it was just an equal understanding of some mutual sex, and she decided to file charges. Maybe she agreed to have sex with Sean and his friend or friends doing stuff she didn't like. So then it's like survival of the fittest. Okay, I got to do what I got to do to try to get out of here. Okay? See, we don't know. Because like I said, there's too many people that hung with Sean that knew of his ways. I'm not going to sit here and believe that somebody that hung around him didn't know he got down like this. And if you're going to a party where a woman is lying naked on a table with food and fruit around her, you should already know this is a bad omen, a bad setup anyway. I've been to lots of functions and parties as an adult, and I have yet to go to a party where there's a naked woman lying on a table with food around her, an apple in her mouth, if you get where I'm going. Women walking around half naked, don't have any brasiers on, no bras on. They're walking around in bikinis. They're stripping out of their clothes. You should already know where it's going. So you know if you're not down with that, you probably should remove yourself. That's common sense. That's why I said there are people that knew what he was about. There are people that knew what his party's about, whether they heard it or they experienced it. Now, I don't know this Ashley Parham from a can of paint, but who we have to wait to see who has something to say is her friend, Mr. Pierce. Did he really have cancer? Is he alive? Did they have a sexual relationship before this Sean Puffy Combs incident? Did he and Sean have sexual relations with one another? Because we do hear that Puffy is gay, bisexual. So did this Sean guy have sex with Sean Puffy Combs? Was there any other sexual activity going on in the house between Sean and any other participants on this fateful night? See, lots of questions you can ask. The department, the police department, are they known to put rape cases under the rug? Will somebody bring forward a receipt to that? Will any other women come out and say, yes, I've gone to the same police department, filed rape charges, and nothing was done? Also mentioned in that 40-minute clip that's now been removed from News Nation, that Pierce guy, her friend, he has allegations against him for rape. Don't know what became of those allegations. So see, there's a lot to the story. There could be some truth, but you got to prove it. Where she messed up, she didn't go to the hospital same night when she was able to get away. That's where I find the story suspicious. Not telling the cops they hid my clothes and shoes. Not going to the hospital once I left out of there. Waiting weeks to go to the hospital, which makes no sense. She should know sperm has removed itself from your body in 3 damn weeks. All this shit about the girl trying to put a copper IUD in her. I'm just sitting here trying to imagine all of this going on. It's weird to me. That's my commentary. Very strange. Wendy Williams. Lord have mercy. More nonsense with Wendy Williams. Wendy claims that they've given her kittens away. She only had $15 on her in this facility where she's living. They're keeping her from her family. But yet we've seen her recently out when her son graduated down in Miami. Where is her money? How much money does she have in the bank? Will this conservatorship be lifted? Will her parents and family members ever get access to her? What is the truth of the conservatorship and how all this came to be that she got a conservatorship? She says this place she's in is filled with elderly people. There's something wrong with the people on the floor. It's basically like a nursing home. They let her get fingernail polish, certain things that she liked. But other than that, it's basically a nursing home where nobody does anything but sit around all damn day. Where is she? New Jersey, New York, Florida? Where is she? And what's going to happen to this woman and her money? Is this karma, not karma? Some people arguing that. That shouldn't be said. Some of her friends are saying, well, you shouldn't be saying it's karma. Mr. Lemon, he's giving his commentary about how they met, how she talked bad about him, but then they became good friends, blah, blah, blah. She's a decent person. She's apologized. You're entitled to your opinion pertaining to Wendy Williams, but it's all some hot butter mess. Let's hear the latest developments pertaining to what has happened to her. And will this conservatorship be lifted by
With Fuelman,
this Miss Morrissey? Why did you all give her kittens away? She claims she's not incapacitated. There's nothing wrong with her. She's aware of her faculties. As we saw her maneuvering down in that hover round down there in Florida, she seems to be the same Wendy Williams. She knows how to talk. She knows how to tell you, hey, She went to the wrong car. They didn't bring her car in time. She seems aware of her faculties, so I don't know.
What I'm saying, I feel like I'm in New York.
6-year-old's niece, Alex, also joined the conversation, echoing her aunt's comments and providing her perspective about the residents, while also... Later in the interview, the former daytime host and her niece shared their thoughts on reports that claim that Wendy has been diagnosed with early onset dementia, after Charlemagne brought up the controversial...
A new year, a new fresh start, a brand new day.
Well, Miss Morrissey, she's putting that out. That's who's doing the talking. She's the puppet. She's the puppeteer. Okay?
Wendy continued to describe feeling like she's held hostage, expressing her desire to visit her father for his upcoming 94th birthday as she got choked up on the phone. Alex then claimed that from her understanding, her aunt has not had a medical evaluation to see if her rights can be restored, as she slammed the guardianship system. And later, the two alleged that Wendy's cats have also been taken away from her. Plus, the 6-year-old also weighed in on the allegations against Sean Diddy Combs, who's reached out to Wendy's guardian, Sabrina E. Morrissey, as well as A&E and Lifetime, but did not immediately hear back. Sean Diddy Combs has previously denied the allegations against him.
Okay, so this is some crazy nonsense pertaining to Wendy Williams. I'm going to chop this up briefly, then I'm going to get out of here. You see, I have said this so many times on this network. I say it to people all the time that I meet in life. You don't know the road that you're going to end up on, okay? You see this with so many people. Rather, they are famous, they are poor, working class. You don't know the road that you're going to end up on, okay? California is a prime example, besides what's going on with Wendy Williams. Those people were living a good life, healthy life. Some were poor, working class, whatever. Living in a state that's very expensive to live in, and now they have nothing. So mosey on over to New York City. You have a woman who had an alcohol problem, drug problem, which I do believe was the start of this. Because, you always got to start at the beginning, not the middle, not the end. It's her alcoholism and drug use is what got her here to be deemed incognitive. The bank seeing, probably large purchases on her credit cards to where it flagged her account, okay? Flagged her account. So you have to, as I said, start at the beginning of the story. And the story is that she had issues, and perhaps she was too kind to people, spending money, letting them buy things, so on and so forth. And next thing you know, somebody's noticing her account. Something's not right with her spending habits, okay? And then the ball began to roll. Jacked up marriage, husband's cheating on her, becomes, talk of the hour. They divorce, nasty divorce. He's wanting money. The girlfriend's living off of Wendy's money. He's living off of Wendy's money. Then it, I'm sure, sent her into a spiral. And that's what got her here today. Now, I'm not saying what this woman is doing is right, Ms. Morrissey, because it seems like they are holding her hostage. It seems like, yeah, she's aware of her faculties. But we got to go back to the beginning when she was probably not eating, not getting a proper diet, walking around looking very frail and thin. She wasn't in her best state of mind, as you saw in the documentary. And so that's what got her here. Now, had she been taking care of herself, she was drinking, to a minimum. She didn't have, big spending amounts on her account to flag the account. She wouldn't be here today. And we get it. You're entitled to spend your money as you see fit. That's the flip side. She's entitled to spend her money. If she wanted to let her son spend money and run up stuff on DoorDash on her credit card, that's her business. But somebody saw something. That's the point. And I don't think Ms. Morrissey knew anything about Wendy Williams beforehand. The bank saw something, okay? The bank saw something suspicious with her account. And that's what got to this place where she is right now. why she's where she is right now. So you do need to think about your habits, how you live, how you navigate the little things in life that don't seem like a very big deal, which I'm sure she didn't care at the time when she was living her so-called life, doing what she wanted to do. She wanted to drink, she wanted to party, she wanted to do that. She didn't think, oh, somebody's going to take notes. Somebody's going to be taking notes. Somebody's going to be noticing things, my spending habits. Somebody's going to, flag the account. That's how she got here. So see, when you sit here and think that you can do whatever you want in life and you can be free, carefree to do what you want, no, because that's all it takes is for somebody to notice something and then they call somebody. And next thing you know, you're sitting where Wendy Williams is. Now, of course, she's in a better shape now because she doesn't have access to the drugs and alcohol. So her mind would be more clear. Her thought process is more clear. She's eating meals. You got to remember, during the documentary, you can see she wasn't eating. When they went out to LA, when she's going out there to try to do some type of deal, you can see her sitting at the table at the restaurant. She wanted to drink first. She didn't want to eat because she wasn't living properly. She wasn't eating properly. As for the cats, they're not going to allow cats in a nursing facility. Come on now. It's a nursing facility. When you go into a nursing facility, they don't let you bring your animals, to my understanding. So I had to think about that just now. Of course, the cats would not go there. And those cats are probably long gone. They're probably been adopted out. A year or so, 2 years, the cats are gone. And I get it. She's upset because they were her cats. But think about everything about her life was hers. You coming and going was your prerogative. Your cats were your animals. Where you lived, your home, navigating. But all that was stripped away. Your money. Because somebody took note to your behaviors. And as I said, I don't know what was on the bank account that was deemed suspicious in nature. It probably was the amounts being spent in the timeline, such as making big purchases, let's say on a Tuesday, and then more big purchases on a Tuesday. Then now we're at Wednesday, more big purchases. Maybe she wasn't spending money like that when she was in New York. So the bank said, something's not right here. Then you got to ask yourself if any other lines of credit were open, such as credit cards, buying expensive items in other places, such as Miami, such as cars. And you know what I'm saying? Just things they thought didn't look right. Because obviously that's why she's in a situation, is because of what her card was running on. And I believe there were big expenditures and that's why she's here. So I say it was the start of a marriage that went downhill. She was in her feelings, depressed, started drinking more, using drugs more. And then one thing begot another. Then she goes to Miami. Son started spending things, buying things. They say, oh, it was normal, but the bank didn't think it was normal. And that's why we're where we are today. That's why she's in the predicament she's in today. And she's not going to remember everything probably that was spent and going on back then because she wasn't in her best self then. Now she is because she's not on any type of narcotics or alcohol. She's eating meals. She's getting nourishments to her body so she can think more clearly now. And she seems to be cognitive in her conversation with these entities, these people. And yes, it is sad to see a person in this state of mind. And I think it's interesting that when that young lady went to see her, all of a sudden these guys come down, all big and bad, like, oh, we don't have a Wendy here. But yet she's standing there on the phone talking to Wendy Williams. It's tragic. It is tragic. But then some people believe this is her karma. That has been said about Wendy Williams because of how dog ass she was, on her show, talking bad about people, putting out these stories, some true, some not, allegations, whatever. And we've seen, shows where they do talk about people, the latest events, her hot topics, but some may feel like the hot topics went too far with her commentary. Then some will say, well, it's still free speech. But if you're spreading lies, then that's defamation. That's not free speech. You're entitled to your opinion. Those are the latest developments pertaining to Wendy Williams. She feels like she's being held hostage in this facility. She has a window, a TV, a bed, but she don't have a life. Many of us knew of the apartment being sold. You hear her talking about that here in this commentary. Her house was sold. She was glad it was sold. So then you have to ask yourself, where's all her money? How much money does she actually have in the bank? Because I told myself what I think was probably going to happen when there was nothing left in the bank. That's when Wendy Williams will be appearing on her own. She'd be destitute. And truthfully, sitting in one room every day, all day, looking at four corners, looking at a TV all day, that is not a healthy lifestyle. We know that many people live this way and they work every day. They work part-time, they're retired, they draw Social Security, disability. But there are people who live just like that. They sit in the house all day and watch TV all day, scroll through social media all day. They don't have a livelihood. They don't go anywhere. They have assets to go. They have faculties to go. They can walk, they can move, but they are sitting in the house all damn day. Then you have those who have cognitive issues and they are sitting in the house all day as well. That's not a good lifestyle for anyone, to sit all day in one place. I don't care if it's a chair, a bed, you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere. It's not healthy. And your brain eventually shuts down because it's only taking in a certain amount of information. But you're not engaging. As you see, an article I read said her contacts were erased out of her phone. You hear her saying here she don't even know what kind of phone she has. So she can call out, but nobody can call her. Her number's been changed. We have different people saying that, people who have known her. They're giving their commentary now to the public that Mr. Lemon said that when he was trying to reach her at one point, the number was changed, or she wasn't calling him back. She wasn't returning his phone calls. Just a lot of he said, she said pertaining to people. Because at that point, they had already swiped her clean and changed phone numbers, things like that, Miss Morrissey. Miss Morrissey, you got to be ashamed of yourself because in the end, she is an adult. And I get it. The bank has a right to do their part pertaining to a person's account if they see anything suspicious, which is a good thing. But what you're doing is not a good thing. A family member or somebody close to her needs to be a guardian. Locking somebody up in a nursing home is not the appropriate thing to do. If they needed rehab, yes. But a person don't need rehab no damn 2 or 3 years later. Because my thing is this, if they're in rehab that long and they haven't shown any signs of improvement, that probably means that they're not going to change, okay? So at this point, it seems like, yes, she's being held against her will. Because if she's not getting any alcohol, she's not getting any drugs, then what is the point of this prolonging of leaving her in there? Just saying. So basically you say, well, we can't let her out because we feel like she'll go back to doing the same thing and she'll get around the same people and they'll take her money again. But the flip side is that you're holding her hostage in a place where she possibly does not need to be. And if she's aware of her faculties and she can still talk about people and speak of them in the present tense and recall events and such as her father's birthday, she wants to go to Miami for his birthday. She knows how old he is. She knows her own birthday. She knows his birthday. That means she's still aware. And that's a problem. That's a problem. She's aware of her faculties. And like I told people, she's aware of her faculties because she's not under the influence. So you all need to take the rein, remove the reins and let the woman live. Find a caregiver, somebody that could be the payee, a relative, because in the end, it's going to be about trust anyway. That's just it. And then somebody say, well, if the woman wants to drink herself to death and let people spend her money up, that's her choice. Because in the end, people do this every day, whether they are millionaires or not. They buy people things, they give them access to their credit cards, their checking account, blah, blah, blah. And people know about it and they don't do anything. They don't call the state, they don't call Adult Protective Services. But I think you all have gone too far in your role. You've gone too far, Ms. Morrissey. The woman seems cognitive, let it go. See, you're getting what we would call a stipend from her money. So hell yeah, you want to hold on as long as you can because you're getting some money out of this. You got to be getting some money. Because one, you are an attorney from my understanding, so you got to be getting something out the deal. Because attorneys just rarely do anything for free. So as long as that woman got money, you can keep getting you some money. And for all we know, she ain't got shit in there. In the bank. I don't know. Because once somebody hands over the guardianship, then that means they would, in my opinion, have access to their money. The bank no longer has the rights to the money. You have access to the money. So where is her money? How much money does she actually have? And I told myself, what's going to be a shame is the day she can walk out free, out of care, she won't have a pot to piss in. The fact that her things are still in storage, for all we know, they ain't even paid the storage for her fine furniture, goods. So you don't really know. You don't really know what she has and what she has access to. Now, when we saw her down in Miami in that little hover around chair, she looked like she was doing okay. She was dressed up, had her little jewelry on. But as far as her other belongings, her furniture and all that, we don't know that they're still paying her storage bill. Because if you're not trying to release Wendy Williams to the public, you're not trying to give her her life back, what would be the purpose in paying for the storage? For all we know, they've auctioned that stuff off. So when I saw her with her son back in the late summer in New Jersey, then we saw her in Miami here recently, I thought maybe the guardianship had been lifted. Because I was thinking the family would be like, we're not sending her. So when would the guardianship be lifted? Well, I can say, with all the people who are talking about her right now, Mr. Lemon, these other so-called friends of hers, her information going out to public platforms, somebody should now be taking note of Wendy's conversations, that she appears that she's aware of her faculties, and the guardianship should be, she should be able to get a court hearing, have somebody go to court. Her family's raising money. They're raising so much money so they can, I guess, hire an attorney to take the case to court so they can get Ms. Morrissey off of guardianship. But it costs. So I think they had a GoFundMe. They have a GoFundMe. And they basically about hold of what they needed to hire an attorney. Because that's the whole point. Everything costs. Nobody's doing anything for free. And I pray that they can get the guardianship. But the flip side of that is the bank flagged her monies for a reason. So if she goes back into the care of one of these relatives, what will be sad, she'll be back in the same situation, going back into drinking, not eating, not taking care of herself, and other people spending the money, doing what they want. She'll be right back in the same situation. So it might be why the guardianship has not been lifted. It's because they don't trust her relatives to do right by her. But I do believe there's somebody out here decent that knows Wendy and would do right by her and her monies. But the flip side of that is also, when you have access to free money, people tend to lose their way, and they will go in their account and take money out and buy stuff and spend it. And the person won't get the care that they need. We have seen this all the time with people who are payees over other people's money, especially people on disability. We've seen them not take care of the people, not buy them food, groceries, hygiene. They're not checking on them. They're not taking care of them. If either the person lives on their own or they live with them, they're not giving them what they need, but they're just sucking up that free money from the government and spending it as they see fit. And perhaps that is what is happening with Wendy Williams. That's why the conservatorship has not been lifted, because they feel like we don't know to trust anybody with her money and her. That she'll go back out and she'll be right back in the same predicament, because naturally old habits die hard. And they always say once an addict, always an addict. And for all we know, we've learned that she's had these issues in her past before she spiraled. She could easily come right back out here and go back to drinking and drugs. And then the cycle will start all over again. That's my commentary, everybody. Two-part live. Sean Puffy Combs' accuser, Ashley Parham, has spoke to News Nation. I piggybacked off of the information from the 4-minute video, bringing you commentary. Well, piggybacked off of the 40-minute video that they have obviously taken down because I can't find it in the queue. And so I looked at my notes, and it's a good thing I took notes this time, trying to remember some of the things that were said, because that video is not in the queue for some reason. I don't know why News Nation removed it, but I brought you information from that 40-minute video that I saw earlier. And then I played you the 4-minute video during this live stream. You're entitled to believe the allegations or not believe them. A lot of the information seems very strange and bizarre of this alleged victim. I don't know if Sean Puffy Combs did these things that she said he did. I do believe he's a sadist. I do believe he's a rapist, a child molester. I do believe he's bisexual. I do believe he drugs people, has done it, filmed them. I believe all of that. But I don't know if I believe her story. Because there was a lot of things that came out at the beginning with this young lady and this Miss Mitchell, the attorney, that seemed suspect. They both seemed suspect to me 3 months ago when all this unfolded with her lawsuit. And we even learned that the attorney had issues with her. So when your attorney has issues with you, that tells you a lot about the storyline. How are we going to believe it if the damn lawyer don't believe it? So then it seemed like they reconnected, and she's continued to represent Miss Parham, Miss Ariel Mitchell. But there's some things about Miss Mitchell I don't trust. With all these videotapes and people had access to tapes. And this woman, if it's the same person, she's a victim. How in the hell does she have a tape of Diddy messing around with other people, children, and she's a victim? See, that's why I told people months ago, something is not right in this case. Because she's a victim. She never knew Sean Puffy Combs, allegedly, before this incident at this guy's house. How would she have access to a tape if this is the same female? But she never knew Sean Puffy Combs. Now you let that sit right there. Go back to the beginning of this live, listen to the information, listen to the allegations in the videos I've played by News Nation, and you decide if you believe her version or not. You decide if she was messing around with her so-called friend, Mr. Pierce, beforehand. He set her up because she talked bad about Puffy, saying that he killed Tupac. She went over to the friend's house as a ruse, and then they took a drive, and then she comes back. Puffy busts it. He busts in the door with other people. You listen to that information, and you decide if it's truth. If they'll play the video again, because I don't know. I just find it strange it's missing. Very bizarre. Maybe somebody had a complaint about the video. I don't know. And Mr. Pierce, his name is being mentioned, so maybe there's a problem with that. Will he respond to the allegations that this woman has brought forward, that he raped her alongside Sean Puffy Combs? Other people were in the room. That assistant lady, her name was mentioned as being an eyewitness, trying to put an IUD inside of her. Just some bizarre stuff mentioned in that 40-minute video. So, News Nation, are you going to bring the video back? Because I'm curious to why you removed it. And are these allegations true by Miss Parham? Was she sexually assaulted by Sean Puffy Combs? Also raped by her so-called friend, Mr. Pierce. Others were in the room, a bodyguard, another woman, and the assistant, and another man. Just a big old party. Also, eyewitness, a neighbor, bringing forward there was allegations of noise disturbance. But as I told you all at the beginning of this live, a noise disturbance. That man don't know what they were doing in the apartment. They might have been too loud. May have heard a gunshot. So now they got to go find him to verify part of the things that this woman is saying. And also, the guy allegedly offered to help her. But the flip side is, why not go get help? Why didn't she ask the police for help? Hey, they got my things, blah, blah, blah. Can you tell them to give me my keys, my clothes, my shoes? I find that strange. Then she said she didn't want to go with the neighbor because he's a man, but yet you go back in the house with the man that raped you. See, make it all make sense. I don't know. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Take the polls on my community page. Follow me on the Newsbreak app, where I give similar commentary content. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeGanji129 cash. Chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. We've got some bad weather on its way starting tomorrow, and I believe it's going to be on the East Coast as well and the South. Please be aware of your faculties. Stay safe. Don't go out if you don't need to, as not to hurt yourself and get caught up on, with the ice and snow. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and once again, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for your time. You've been listening